So here are the top 5 frequently asked questions about crypto. Number 1 is, what is Bitcoin and what makes it different than all the other cryptocurrencies out there? Well, Bitcoin is the only crypto out of the tens of thousands of cryptos and coins out there. Bitcoin is the only one that is not an altcoin. Everything else is considered an altcoin. So it's the original. It is the only decentralized, 100% truly decentralized crypto, meaning there is no company behind it. There is no CEO like the Ethereum blockchain CEO, like Ripple, like XRP, where there's a company behind it and an actual owner of the company. Bitcoin does not have an owner. It was Satoshi Nakamoto's gift to the world. It was basically an open source blockchain technology that was released on the world that has so far to this date has never been hacked, compromised, and is encrypted and has the potential to continue to be that way. So that is the difference. That is the main difference. Bitcoin may not be as superior as such as XRP as far as financial services are concerned. In other words, the transactions are not as fast as an XRP. XRP has proven itself to be probably more suitable to financial transactions than Bitcoin. So Bitcoin probably will not end up as a currency, so to speak. However, you can buy things with it. If someone's willing to accept Bitcoin in exchange for goods or services, you can certainly do that transaction with them. But it probably won't end up in the 7-Eleven or at the gas station where you're swiping your Bitcoin card to pay for your gas. And the reason why is because the transactions are not as fast and it does take a little longer for them to process. However, Bitcoin is good as a store of wealth. It is good as an asset class to hold as a reserve against another type of currency like US dollars and fiat currency. So I can see Bitcoin being a Federal Reserve reserve, basically for the Federal Reserve, kind of like gold used to be when we were on the gold standard. So Bitcoin could certainly replace that as digital gold. So that is the difference there between Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Second, what are altcoins and should I invest in them? This is one of the top 5 questions we get. What are these altcoins and which ones should we invest in? On our webinars, we give away the top 20 altcoins that we think are going to 5 to 10x over the coming months in this bull market. As of the time of this recording, which is February 1st, 2025, there are many cryptos that were still that we consider will probably 2x to 5x between now and the end of this year. So if you'd like that list, just comment below or send me a DM. I'll be happy to send you a screenshot of the ones that we hold. But altcoins are basically alternative cryptos, alternative to Bitcoin, as I mentioned in the first question. And there are many different ones, but most of them have, and the ones that you want to invest in are the ones that have good utility behind them. What does that mean? That just means that they serve a purpose. They're not just meme tokens that you're hoping are going to go up because they have a cute little slogan or a cute little mascot as their image. Dogecoin, for instance, or Shiba Inu and these types, you can make money and people have made money and they have pumped and they might be around for a long time, but they could also just fade away because they really serve no purpose other than something fun to buy and hold or invest in or speculate on. There's things that people speculate on because they just think that it's going to go up in value. And if enough people believe in it and believe that it's going to go up in value and you buy it now and someone else and a lot of people buy it later, the price goes up and you could potentially sell or dump on those people and make money. This is not really the proper way or the right way to make money. Some people will call that kind of a pyramid scheme or some kind of scam where the only thing that makes it worth anything is other people's belief that it's going to be worth something in the future. But if you think about it, that is actually the same concept behind good old Federal Reserve notes and the US dollar bill. The only reason that you can walk into a 7-Eleven and exchange $1 for a Snickers candy bar is because the clerk and the store owner believe that that is a fair exchange because as of right now, the good faith of the U.S. government is guaranteeing that that dollar is worth $1. And therefore you can exchange something worth $1 for it. But as soon as the belief changes in the country and as soon as people start to disbelieve that that dollar is worth $1, then people will stop accepting it in exchange for goods and services and they will request that you pay them something else of value. Used to be that they would want gold or silver, but now in the digital age, they might want Bitcoin. They might want Dogecoin. They might want Ethereum or XRP in exchange. Or if things really get bad, they might want can openers. That might be the medium of exchange if we have a zombie apocalypse and the shit hits the fan and, everybody's out there hungry and pillaging. The person with the can openers might be the richest person. So, what we value as a medium of exchange right now can change in the future because it has changed many times in the past. So next question, what are stablecoins and how are they used? A stablecoin is a cryptocurrency that is pegged to the US dollar, like USDT or USDC, and XRP is soon to come out with its own stablecoin. And all that means is that it doesn't fluctuate. It doesn't go up or down in value or price. It stays even with the value of whatever the accepted currency is. Like, for instance, USDC and USDT are pegged to the US dollar. And therefore, whatever the value of a US dollar is, that's what that coin is worth at any given time. 99 cents, a dollar, 1 cent, a dollar, 99 cents, a dollar, $1. It fluctuates in fractions of a penny. And that's about it based on the exchange rate of the Federal Reserve note and the US dollar. So that's what a stablecoin is. And also, stablecoins exist for a very good reason. First of all, if you were to transact in crypto and you've already transferred money from your bank account to, let's say, a major exchange like Coinbase or crypto.com, and then you converted your USD, which is your US dollar, the fiat currency that you used to have in your bank account, when you convert that to, let's say, Bitcoin or XRP or any other crypto, and you want to keep it in your centralized exchange. In other words, you're not going to cash it back out for US dollars and send it back to your bank, but maybe you want to buy a different crypto. Maybe you want to invest from Bitcoin to XRP, or you want to get out of a trade. Perhaps you bought XRP at $3 and now it's $4.50 and you want to take that profit off the table. What you could do, instead of selling it, you just convert it to USDT or USDC. You convert it to a stable coin. That way it stays in crypto. There's a smaller transaction fee because you're not selling the crypto back to US dollars. You're just converting it to the stable coin. And that allows you to sit in the stable coin, which is back to the US dollar. So you don't have to worry about the price going up and down anymore. So if the coin that you converted back to a stable coin drops in value, you're safe because you just converted it at the highest price. And now you're sitting in the stable coin and you're basically waiting for the next opportunity. And it's much easier to get into another token or another coin with that stable coin rather than having to go back to your bank, transfer the money, and start all over again when you're ready to invest again. So that's the real use case for the stable coin and why you would use that. A lot of people ask also, which exchange should I use? There's so many companies out there and they start rattling off 100 different ones. What about this one? What about this one? What about this one? Guys, there's only so many centralized exchanges. Coinbase, for instance, is one of them. It is the largest centralized exchange, and it is listed on the New York Stock Exchange. It is a publicly traded company. That's legit. Yes, for sure. Crypto.com, legit. The problem with centralized exchanges, guys, is there's an old saying in crypto, not your keys, not your crypto. What does that mean? That means that when you set up an account at Coinbase or crypto.com, they're giving you the account, kind of like a bank, and they're giving you a login password. What if one day you go to log in and you just can't log in? Where's your crypto then? How are you going to access it? And so you need their permission to access your crypto, which basically means they're your gatekeeper. Okay. Are there ways around this? You need them to get into the space. You need them to set up an account in order to connect your bank account in order to buy crypto and get crypto into the crypto space, right? And they are one that is one of the largest. So they are trustworthy. However, there's been many reports of people who get locked out of their account for various reasons and they can't get back in and their crypto is kind of compromised at that point. Also, what happens if this large company that's holding your crypto gets sued or files bankruptcy or Chapter 11? Your crypto will then get tied up in that legal issue. And you might get it back in the future, but you might have to wait months, if not years, for that to happen. And so the best course of action, guys, is once you have crypto, once you've built up some type of portfolio, is to use cold storage wallets. This equates to, you remember back in the old days when your grandparents used to hoard cash in a shoebox under their bed? Well, imagine this. You go to your bank someday and you go to walk in and the door's locked. And then you go to the ATM machine and says, sorry, out of service. Same thing can happen with banks. there's been run on banks where the banks don't have enough cash to give the people, and the people are all trying to withdraw their money, and the banks just can't do it because they don't have the money. Because the banks operate that way. They don't keep any cash in reserves, and especially the amount of money that's been deposited by all the people. It's a very scary situation that we live in. It's a very delicate situation, and we're all at the mercy of the banks. However, if you stockpiled a bunch of cash in your shoebox under your bed or buried in your backyard, you would be okay for a little while, right? Until that ran out. That's what smart people used to do back in the day. So very similarly with crypto, you would keep your crypto in a cold storage wallet. This is a device that you keep on your person, or you put somewhere where you buy your crypto, perhaps on a Coinbase or crypto.com, and then you transfer it to your cold storage wallet. And that way it's off of the actual exchange. It's now being held in a private server, a private device that only you know where it's at, and you control it. You could literally get on a plane with $1 billion on a little hard drive in your pocket, and no one would know how much money you have. Tried to do that with a suitcase full of cash. Try to get on a plane with a suitcase full of cash, and I promise you that money will be confiscated until they figure out whether you stole it or not. Try to get on an airplane with several bars of gold and see what happens to that gold. It will be confiscated until they determine whether you stole that or not. In fact, they might just steal it from you. And that's how it works. But you can get on a plane with hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars with Bitcoin in a little, USB drive, and no one would even know what you have on there. And that's how cool crypto is. And when you understand this, you would probably want to have one of these cold storage wallets. You can just Google top 10 cold storage wallets and see which one looks best for you. And that's what you use. And whenever you want to sell or move that crypto, you simply just transfer it back to any centralized exchange or decentralized exchange for that matter, or to someone else's wallet who you might want to buy something from. So it's very easy to use once you understand all this. So that's the difference between centralized and decentralized and cold storage wallets. The next question people ask is the most common question is, how do I get started? And a lot of people ask this question before they ask any of the other questions, and which is a little premature because you really should understand what you're doing before you get started. The good thing with what we do in Crypto Renegades is we teach people step by step. Doesn't matter what you know already or how uneducated or ignorant you may be to the whole crypto space is, new people, brand new people, what we call the newbies to the market. The best thing for you to do is to get educated first, because there's a lot of scams out there. There are a lot of things out there that a lot of, scrupulous individuals are doing to try to extract ignorant people from their money. And when I say ignorant, I don't mean that in any disrespect. I just mean that you just don't understand really how everything works yet. And those are the people that are susceptible to the scams, because there's a lot of opportunities. We hear about the people that make a fortune in crypto, and then we see these opportunities where you can make a fortune. All you got to do is send this person this much money or open this account here, and we just believe it. And a lot of people get scammed that way. So what I would suggest is you get educated by reputable educators, people who teach and train people for a living. I happen to be the founder of Crypto Renegades. We have been around for 4 years. We have thousands of members in our free Facebook group. I think over 5,000 people at this point, and well over 1,200 people in our paid mastermind group, where they are learning not only all about crypto and how it works, but how to literally trade Bitcoin futures contracts or contracts on any crypto at multiple triple digit gains almost daily and weekly, because we use something called the crypto wormhole, where we're compressing time by understanding leverage and how to use leverage in our favor. So if you'd like to learn more about that, just click the button below or comment below this video, and we'll be happy to send you more information.